Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Biblio Files. This is the program on AADL TV where we take a few minutes each episode to discuss one book topic. My name is Lucy, and as usual, I'm here with Christopher and Amanda. And the book topic that we are looking at this week is slice of life graphic novels. So this is a graphic novel that is just sort of realistic fiction, maybe a day in the life or just a little snippet of someone's life. So that is what we are discussing. Christopher, what did you pick?
Well, I found this book, Perfect Example by John Porcellino, and I was so happy to find it. I've been reading John for a long time now. I first found him through his zines, King Cat Comics, and I just love this collection. The stories all take place in the spring and summer of 1986 when John was graduating high school. And it also happens to be the same time that I was graduating. So I relate to so many feelings and references that John brings up in the book. His art is spare, but really is perfect with the feelings that he's conveying in the stories about crushes and depression and sadness, and just confusion about friends and the future. They're just wonderful to read. I also love the fact that the stories took place in '86. John then illustrated them in about 10 years later than that. And then the book was published even later. So you have these three frames through which to view these stories while they're happening, when he illustrated them, and then close to the present day. So it's a kind of multi-lensed view, really, of what's going on in his life. Not to make it overly academic, but I really appreciated that kind of view of this period in his life. So I love these stories so much. It's Perfect Example by John Porcellino. Amanda, what did you pick for us today?
That sounds like a great book. I love reading period pieces, especially things set in the 80s. So the book I chose is completely different. I chose a teen graphic novel called Check Please by Ngozi Ukazu. So this book actually began as a web series. So the author is an artist, and she went to art school, and she loved drawing, and she wanted to write a screenplay about hockey and a hockey player. But in her words, being a Texan, a woman, and a first-generation Nigerian, I knew that writing about a white, Boston-born hockey bro would require weeks of intense anthropological study, which she did. And in doing so, she also became obsessed with hockey. I was drawn to this book because, again, I like the slice of life graphic novel, like realistic fiction, fun little easy stories about different characters. I also like hockey, so I was drawn to this book because of that. I knew nothing about the author or the history of the book. It actually started as a web series. It started as a web comic. This book was published in 2018, I believe. So this is book one. And the author says, the graphic novel you are about to read is a love letter to college hockey, the bonds you form in undergrad, and self-acceptance. So the book is centered, or the webcomic, I'm just going to say the book, but the webcomic series, however you want to know it, so it centers around a character named Eric Biddle. Everyone calls him Biddy. He is a vlogger. He is a figure skater turned college hockey player. He is at a fictional private college in Massachusetts. He's cheery, he's kind, he loves to cook, especially pies. He's smaller than other players. He plays hockey, but he doesn't want to check other players, and he doesn't want to be checked. And then hockey is a very physical sport, and that's kind of a big deal that he's not into checking. He also may or may not have a big crush on one of the star players on the team. I enjoy that little quasi love story in the book. And it's just him and his teammates, locker room, games before, and they all live in the same house on campus together. This book 1 features him in freshman year and sophomore year. And then I actually grabbed book 2 from the library that I want to read. But again, there's a website. I think Eric Biddle has his own Twitter handle. So the author has kept up with this character over the years through this webcomic. I just thought it was really fun. He was just a fun, quirky, he's just a really fun, sweet character. And I just enjoyed that he sort of has this mascot sort of presentation on the team versus the big hockey player. I just had a lot of fun with the book. It's not my favorite in the slice of life graphic novel genre, but again, I was drawn to it because I like hockey. And so it was kind of interesting reading from a player's point of view because Eric is telling the story. And since he's a vlogger, part of it is also the author and the illustrator, she has these drawings of shots of them playing hockey in the locker room. The story is actually a little disjointed in areas, sort of like me speaking about it right now. But there are parts of it where he is doing a vlog. He's in the closet of, at his mom's house, or in his dorm room, or in the house with his other players. He's sort of just in this closet, doing a vlog. And so he's actually speaking, and the way it's drawn is him speaking, which that was kind of a cool way to see his frame of mind. And then it goes into some of the story. So anyways, that is Check Please. If you're into hockey or just want a good slice of life graphic novel, want to read a realistic fiction book, I recommend it. Check Please by Ngozi Ukazu. Christopher, have you read this one? I feel like you've talked about this before.
I've talked about it because it's on my list. I've heard such good recommendations for it.
Cool. Lucy, have you read it?
I have not, but it's also been on my list.
Okay.
So I think now I will. And I really like hockey. I'm not a huge sports person, but if there's one sport I enjoy, especially reading about, is hockey. So yeah.
Yeah. And you don't have to know or love hockey to enjoy this book. Yeah, it's just a lot of fun. This book, I actually grabbed it before the library shut down. And I was going to read it, an easy, quick read. I can read it on my lunch breaks. Then I left it there. And then I actually restarted the book and just reread the whole thing quickly. I'm getting ready for this today. Now, Lucy, I know you love slice of life graphic novels. What do you got for us today?
I do, actually. I love graphic novels in general because I find them to be very immersive. The book that I picked today is one that's been on my to-read list for a long time, and I finally got to it. It is Laura Dean Keeps Breaking Up With Me. It's by Mariko Tamaki, and it's illustrated by Rosemary Valero O'Connell. And I'm so glad that I got to it because I love this book. So it's about a girl named Freddie. Her real name's Frederica. And she has this on again, off again relationship with Laura Dean. She's intoxicated by Laura Dean. And Laura Dean is this really cool girl in the school. Everyone loves her, but she is definitely not healthy relationship material. And so Laura Dean keeps breaking up with Freddie, and Laura Dean controls their relationship. And Freddie's just devastated every time it happens. Freddie's friends try to support her, but they get to this point where they can't understand why she keeps putting herself in this sort of toxic relationship. And when Freddie is in the midst of this drama with her breakups, she has trouble being a good friend to her other friends. She goes to a seer to kind of, I think, be told, keep pursuing it, but the seer gives her advice she does not like. And then she starts writing to this advice columnist. So that's a lot of the book is narrated through these little letters, or this long letter that she's writing to this advice columnist. And it finally takes one of her friends having a big crisis for her to kind of snap out of it and realize what's important to her. And that was one of my favorite parts of the book. She has this really great friendship with this girl named Doodle that just at parts kind of moved me almost to tears. This book, another reason why I love this book is I think it has great representation. This is a book for teens, and it's filled with LGBTQIA plus characters. Freddie is out to her parents. She works at a gay sandwich shop. Everyone who works there has to be queer. And she has friends of different body shapes, gender expressions, sexualities, skin tones. And the conflict in the book has nothing to do with any of that. That's just, her queerness is not part of the conflict. It just is. And I think what the author does by doing that is she really normalizes this adolescent queer experience and kind of breaks down stereotypes. I also enjoyed that the romance part of it's not a meet cute story at all. You're getting introduced to it right like 3 months into, maybe about 3 months into Laura and Freddie's relationship. So you're just getting the breakups kind of, but you're not getting their story too much about how they met. And then another thing I loved about it were the illustrations. So it is in 3 colors. It's in black, gray, and some peachy pink throughout. So it's just really visually interesting. Like when it's just the black and the kind of pink, it's really cool. So yeah, as I said, I'm so glad that I read this book. It's definitely going to be one of my favorite slice of life graphic novels. So that is Laura Dean Keeps Breaking Up With Me by Mariko Tamaki.
So I actually read that book last year as well. Didn't it win a Prince honor? I feel like it was
Yeah, it did. It did.
And that's like one of the best awards you can get for teen fiction books or teen books in general. Now the graphic novels win them too. Great book. I'm so glad you brought that today, Lucy.
Yeah.
Me too. I really enjoyed it as well.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Well, great that we've all read it. All right, well, so that is our episode on Slice of Life graphic novels. As always, we love to hear from you. So if you have a graphic novel that you've read or that you want to read, we love getting comments from you, and you can click the link below to do that. So thanks for joining us, and we will be back with another episode.